Hey guys, it's me. We're about to start. Everybody's kind of chatting away right now, so, yeah. We haven't officially started yet, but I'm gonna go ahead and put them on too, so you guys can hear them. Again, as always with streams, audio is up for debate and everything. Let me know if anything sounds a little too loud or a little too low, and I can fix that right away. But anyway, let's see what the group's up to. Let's see what they're doing.
Not to like make this about myself, but like I'm pretty sure there is going to be some sort of Princess Bride reference whenever I get married.
I wasn't aware
power
of
to
that.
you.
Congratulations, mister.
Power move.
Thank you.
Wow. 12. Wow.
Hey, man and wife.
I need to watch that now. I really
Right
wanna-
now, let's stop this. We don't need this anymore.
Like, this is just going to be a group watch of Princess Bride now. Sorry to
Welcome aboard.
disappoint everybody.
Honestly, that'd be dope. We should totally do that at some point.
Maybe by the time we get it done, Xeno will be good to go.
Oh, I've been good to go. I didn't want to interrupt the conversation.
Oh,
right. Oh crap. Right.
Thank you.
Actually,
So
we're
we
live
should
right
just
now.
start.
They can hear you. Yeah. So.
Oh god.
Oh,
Okay,
wow.
we're on. Oh
Ooh.
wow.
Hi,
Alright.
Xeno's chat.
spicy.
Okay, I'm just gonna ask for an introduction from like everyone that I can see from the top of the Discord to the bottom. All right. So, Kylie Luke, who are you? What do you do?
All right. Yeah, my name is Hylian Luke, and I do Zelda theories and other types of Zelda content. Like, I do audio swapping Zelda videos where like I will manually insert like audio from Ocarina of Time into like other Zelda gameplay, and it sounds really cool. I don't know why, but I really like doing it, so I do that. I do Zelda collabs, and basically just anything Zelda is on the channel.
Just Zelda.
Yep, just Zelda.
All
I
right.
have-
Let's talk about Nehru.
Hello, my name is Nehru, and I also make Zelda videos, which is something you'll be hearing from the next 6 people as well. The Zelda videos on my channel, I don't really do theories. They're pretty much consisting of half hot takes that people yell at me for, and the other half are like history documentary style videos called Hyrule History. So that's me. If you like history or bad Zelda takes, come to my channel.
Alright.
Flexing that Twilight Princess hate.
Guys, I'm just saying, there's a lot of us here that love Twilight Princess. We can
That's-
gang up on Nehru.
That's my only good take.
Oh.
Oh,
Wow.
Wow, dude. All right.
Should we just kick him now or what?
Oh yeah. Come on. Let's send him out. I'm the owner, right?
How you really get under his skin is talk about Giplos being redeads.
Ooh.
I don't know if I've ever heard of a Giblo before, so I think I'll be all right.
Oh,
It'd be like that.
Pixel Fusion. Who are you? What do you do?
all right. So I'm a Zelda theorist, like everybody else here. I tend to focus on things like the timeline and just love to go on and on about it. Pretty new to the scene, only a few months old. I also do a bunch of video game bead art using perler beads.
Oh. That sounds really
But
interesting,
alas.
actually. All right, Bread.
Yeah, my name is
Yeah.
Bread Pirate. I am a historian, but unlike Nehru, I cover more of the real-life historical things surrounding the Zelda series, like their development and also obscure games most people don't know about. I'm also Nehru's arch rival.
Yeah, this is true.
It's true.
Can't stand those
It's a good claim to
Subrosians.
A flame. Yeah.
Tyler.
Hello, my name's Tyler Townsend. Much like everyone else here, I make Zelda content. Big surprise, I know. I mostly do kind of like, just kind of like weird topic pieces and like reaction videos mostly. Those tend to do the best for me.
Very nice, very nice. On mine, I'm the next one, so I'll just say I'm the same as everyone else here, but I do a lot of speculation. That's really all you need to know. So I need Breath of the Wild 2 is basically what I'm saying.
Yummy stuff, love it.
Basically. Truth Force.
Okay, so yeah, I'm Truth Force, and I, just like everybody else, I do Zelda content. I do mostly theories, but I also do some analyses and things like that as well. So yeah, that's basically just me.
Cool. And Xenogamer.
Hey, that's me. I also make Zelda videos. I mostly make theories, speculation stuff too. And I just love Zelda. But I'm sure I'm in company of people that also love Zelda, so yeah.
No, I absolutely hate it. Worst series.
Never
Mario's
heard of it
best.
actually.
No kidding. No kidding.
Right. Okay. So I have a question, and my initial idea was we just individually go through it. But to be honest, it probably will work better if we just make it into a conversation as much as we can before everyone starts talking over each other. So I could go for Nintendo as a whole, but we'll start with what are your hopes for Zelda at E3? So I'll let anyone start. Anyone can start. Anyone can say their first hope for Zelda at E3.
Title for Breath of the Wild 2.
That's what I was gonna say.
setting our bar pretty low to start off. All right.
Anything for Breath of the Wild 2. Literally, frame.
Not really Breath of the Wild 2, but I really want to see Oracle remakes.
Oh yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
Do you want to see
It
them
would
like
be
the
great
style
if
of
they-
Link's Awakening?
Yeah, and that's
Yeah, using. I was
I would
thinking it'd be
love
really
that.
cool. I was thinking it'd be really cool if they reused the engine for Link's Awakening and did the
That would be
Oracle games.
amazing.
Oh yeah.
And it would make a lot of sense because Link's Awakening and the Oracle games shared a graphics palette. Like a lot of the sprites are the exact same, so it would make total sense.
Oh
It
yeah.
would make perfect
Did
sense.
they? I thought Capcom created entirely new art assets for the Oracle games.
Oh, sure, they did create some art assets for the original stuff, but a lot of the stuff is the exact same.
Okay.
I would say the majority of the stuff is the same.
Another thing I
Super-
think about it, Capcom is supposed to have a big presence this year too, so they might be involved with the remakes as well. Who knows?
That would be awesome.
Yeah, Grezzo. It would have to be somebody else. Like if they announce something this year, because Grezzo just came off of Miitopia, so like unless they split their resources somehow and we're able to do multiple games at a time. But I don't know. Like, how big is Grezzo? Or like they are a substantial sized team. Like I don't know that they'd be able to do that.
I have no idea.
I think I remember seeing the thing that they have like a lot of employees, but I still think they work on like one game at a time, maybe two. Could be wrong.
So if Nintendo did do remakes of the Oracle games, I would be absolutely thrilled if they put forth the effort to make the third one that they initially intended to.
Oh man,
Oh yeah.
Oh.
that'd
Wasn't
be
it
really
called-
great.
The
Something about Seeds of Courage.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Mystical Seeds of Courage.
Yeah.
Mystical Seed of Courage. Yeah.
I mean, they might want to redo that name, but I mean, something like that, I would get down behind that instantly.
Oh yeah, me too.
I mean, it only took them like 25 years to make it, but whatever. I guess that's only 20 years.
Yeah. Definitely.
old.
It almost took as long to make as Breath of the Wild.
Oh my god. I remember for Breath of the Wild, I remember reading articles back when like Skyward Sword was in development, how they were talking about trying to make like an open world Zelda, like alongside Skyward Sword. Like it's been going on since like 2011, I feel like 2010.
I know at least since 2013, because that was like when they announced Wind Waker HD, they were like, oh, we're also working on this big Zelda game, and like that was kind of like whenever I started seeing a lot of that for sure.
Yeah, that was when they first like said, "Hey, this is a thing that's actually going to happen." And then after that, they did the teaser trailer in 2014, and then gameplay demo at Game Awards, and then
And
E3.
then nothing.
And yeah,
Well, that brings up a good question. How long do we think that this is going to take, this sequel? We're all basically just shooting into the dark when we give the answers about this, but it'd be fun to speculate on.
I think
Well,
next spring.
For sure.
Numa did
I
say
agree
we'd
with
get
Tyler.
news sometime this year. So
I think we're gonna get it next Christmas. Or sorry, 2022's Christmas, so the Christmas after next.
Oof, that's a pretty long way away.
Because
Yeah, people are consistently wrong about when the Zelda date has gonna come out, and I figure best to put it off so I can't be wrong.
yeah,
Good idea.
I know what you mean.
Yeah,
It's
I've
like
seen-
So for me, I would have to say probably either late this year or just like you guys said, spring of 22, because they started making this after DLC Pack 2, I believe, at the end of 2017.
Yeah.
So it's been, what, 4 years? So it's
A little bit less, but about 4 years.
Almost, yeah. It's like 3.5 to 4 years, somewhere in there. So we've gotten some time in between all of that. So I'm hoping that they've made some good progress.
You would think with them reusing the overworld that it would help with speed up development. But they might be editing the overworld a lot too.
Well, to that point, you got to think, like, if they're taking all this extra time, just imagine all the potential things they could be adding to it. Because, like,
Fishing! Please!
God, I hope so.
Yeah, that would be a lot of fun.
I'm sick of fishing with bombs.
I was gonna say, you can already fish with bombs. It's easy.
I need a rod and reel, man.
I really hope they add the hidden skills. I want to learn more combat stuff.
Oh yeah.
I personally got very bored of Breath of the Wild's combat because the only thing that was innovative was the Flurry Rush, which was in itself super awesome. Plus, like, you could use like the spears and the doubles and like the great swords and stuff, which had different styles of combat. But I always got like an adrenaline rush with those like hidden skills. It's so fun.
The way that they were like implemented into combat too is just like you know, it wasn't very static or anything like the Flurry Rush is, where you dodge and then it slows down time and then there you go. But like you had a little bit more fluidity, I guess you could say, to it with the hidden skills. Yeah,
definitely. There's like variety. If you ask me, Nehru, I know you hate Twilight Princess, but I'm just gonna say it. I think it has the best combat in all of Zelda.
Well, I mean, I'm gonna defend Nehru here. It does have a lot of the easiest combat as well. It doesn't have that difficulty, and that's something that Breath of the Wild at least did have a little bit of at the beginning of the game.
Those hidden skills are fun, but they make the game even more of a cakewalk than Zelda already usually is. Like, Zelda combat is not hard; it never really has been, with the exception of the 2D, like the older 2D games. But 3D Zelda combat has never been hard, and Twilight Princess introduced these hidden skills, but it didn't increase the difficulty of the combat to match. So in my opinion, at least, the hidden skills just made the game an absolute cakewalk. So if they do add the hidden skills system into Breath of the Wild 2, I would like to see the combat reflect that.
Yeah,
I think that's a fair trade-off, honestly.
Yeah, if they added enemies like dark nets into it that you had to strategically hit in weak points, flip around them or whatever, that would be good.
Don't talk about enemy variation, otherwise we could talk for like 2 hours just about enemies. We already talked about it a little bit in the Discord. God.
That's too true. That's too
well,
true.
That could be one thing that takes up the development time quite a lot if they're making each enemy unique with its AI.
I mean, they're not just gonna slap elemental properties on everything like in Age of Calamity.
I actually wish they would.
Okay, I'm not gonna lie. Awesome. The Malice infected enemies was actually super cool. I actually really liked it.
It was.
I agree.
My first reaction to seeing them, though, was like, oh, it's double infected by Malice.
Double infected. That's true, actually.
I made a video about this, but like, imagine if there was like a camp of bokoblins and there was like a fire moblin there, and you, like, let's say you glide down at them from a height and you drop a bomb. Like, a lot of, like, that's a pretty common thing, is to drop a bomb onto a bokoblin camp. Normally at that point you have to come out of your parachute, but imagine if you saw a fire moblin and you actually could sail over it and use the steam from its fire to give you air again.
Yeah,
I like that a lot. I think you also... Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Pixel.
Oh, I was just going to say, I remember you talking about that, and it sounds cool, but I'm not sure I want them to focus on that. I prefer them to focus on a story more than necessarily gameplay. That might be unpopular.
Yeah, that I would despise them ignoring gameplay for the focus.
They need to do
story.
both, because at its core, Zelda is a video game, not a video story. So it does need to have solid gameplay to back it up. But ideally, we would have both. We would have a really great story and great gameplay.
In a perfect world.
In a perfect world.
Yeah.
I do have a question from chat that I think is interesting. Ragnarok asks, what do you hope to see if we think there's a teaser trailer? What do we hope to see from the teaser trailer?
Shout out to Ragnarok. He's a cool dude.
I would love to see blacksmith shops being able to repair weapons.
Yes.
The ability to repair parts of the overworld, like settlements and whatnot, is the big thing that I would really like to see.
It's like Terrytown on steroids or something.
I'm thinking maybe a little bit more like Assassin's Creed, how you could build up a town or something, but it would be broader across all of Hyrule.
Yeah.
So in the teaser trailer specifically, I want to see some concrete story info and a little bit of gameplay, enough to sort of hint at what's different between Breath of the Wild 1 and 2. And then I don't really want any more than that. I'd like the speculation to continue for a little bit longer. I just want us to have a little bit more juice to speculate off.
Yeah, I mean, as
definitely.
long as they show us new stuff and they show us the big thing that will differentiate it from Breath of the Wild, I think I'm happy.
I think that'll be the arm. Like, I mean, there's so much focus on the arm, on the spectral arm.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's all but confirmed that the concept art with, like, you know, the arm with, like, the beetle and the grab on hook or whatever it was, like, it almost... I have, like, a strong suspicion that that's what this arm is supposed to be mimicking, is those items. So I feel like that's going to be what the new gimmick and new gameplay loop is going to be kind of tied around. So I feel like, I don't know, maybe I'm just insane.
No,
but, like,
I think you're onto
that's
something
gonna take
there.
that.
Yeah,
And,
I think you're onto something. That does seem to be the gimmick.
Like, even if you go back and look at the thumbnail of the trailer on YouTube now for Breath of the Wild 2, the first one, that's Link clutching his arm, which is now
Yeah.
spirity.
Yeah,
Ooh, I never thought about that. That's a good point.
Yeah,
So
it's
I remember.
Plus, like, in wasn't it in the Creating a Champion book, Masterworks? There's like concept art of Link like missing his arm, and he's got like a gadget for his other arm, and he can use it to like make other weapons.
That's what I was gonna try to bring up, because I remember that in Creating Champion they talked about that some, but I think there was an interview with Anuma talking about how they initially had an idea of including things like the hook shot, but it made travel too easier. The idea that the hand could be other past the Zelda items or their functions sounds really cool to me.
Give us a hook shot, Anuma. We want it.
yeah, like
It was the hook shot.
And a fishing rod.
He just stretches his arm super far to grab it.
yeah, exactly. I fully
fantastic.
like. I think that's what will actually happen. Honestly, like I feel like it's just going to be some Mr. Fantastic action on it.
Yes.
So
I keep
another thing
thinking
was
about,
thinking
like-
about- Sorry, go on, Zeno.
Oh, I keep thinking about, like, what if, like, he can turn his arm into, like, a beetle type thing, too, and you have, like, a drone in that way.
That
Oh,
was
yeah,
so
that-
good.
Oh,
That'd be
that
so
was
much
cool.
fun.
Oh, you mean like
I
the remote
want
beetle from Skyward?
Yeah, from Skyward
Sure.
Sword.
The
I
beetle
was
is, like, my
talking.
favorite item ever.
It was the what item?
The beetle's just like the favorite Zelda item ever.
Oh,
It's so
gotcha,
good.
gotcha. I was you know, not to talk baseball too much, but me and Nehru had a discussion with another Nintendo YouTuber named Nintendo Fire the other day, and we talked about the possibility of like Skyward Sword not only being brought back because it's the 10th anniversary and it needed an HD remake, but because some of those items could be translated over into Breath of the Wild 2. Like, you know, like the beetle, for example, because we did see that in the concept art for Breath of the Wild as well. So like they had plans to do that at some point. So like I have a sneaking suspicion that Skyward Sword might be like a refresher course going into Breath of the Wild 2, like a way to get yourself familiar with some of the items and concepts.
Oh yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, I definitely agree.
Yeah, especially with Eiji Aonuma talking about similarities between Skyward Sword and Breath of the Wild. At first, I was originally thinking like how Breath of the Wild inherited some of those traits from Skyward Sword, but now that you bring that up, that is a good point. I think it could be Skyward Sword is like resurfacing for an HD release because of what you said. So that could be a really interesting thought.
I have an interesting theory I've been working on regarding that. I don't want to talk about it too much, but I think that Skyward Sword is very relevant in terms of lore to both Breath of the Wild and, of course, its sequel.
It's pretty far
I feel
away,
like-
but I mean, I could sort of see what you mean. At least
like
it's a nice
starting-
base entry game for new people to the series.
It is.
Yeah.
On a side note, imagine getting that wind bellow thing from Skyward Sword and going to town in the Gerudo Desert.
Oh no.
Oh,
20 hours of gameplay right there.
now we're
Oh,
using the
that's
full
insane.
brain, the other 90%.
That would be so fun though to like to find treasure chests or something like that. You know, like you just have to blow away
Or-
a sand dune.
Yeah.
Or, how about this? Arbiter's Ground.
Oh, you can
Ooh,
uncover the
uncovering
whole
dungeons.
thing. Oh
I
my
like it. I
gosh.
like it a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, that's something to talk about. Dungeons. Like, what do
Oh,
we
yeah,
want to
what
see
do
out
we-
of
what do we
dungeons
think?
aside from new designs? Because I know everybody's kind of sick of seeing the Sheikah interiors.
I just want to see
Yeah.
dungeons.
I just want some
dungeons.
cool bosses. I want something besides blights to fight.
Yeah.
I really want to see like a new version of Hyrule from Breath of the Wild, but I also want the normal like traditional dungeon alongside that. So I want to see like kind of an open dungeon format. So there's you can walk in whenever you want, but I also want some dungeons that you go in, you don't really come back. You don't go back in there again after you finished it. Like I want to be, I don't know, I want areas to explore, but then you can also, you can't go and like explore the other areas again. If that makes any sense.
You mean like areas you can only explore one time?
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. That kind of flies
Like-
in the face of Breath of the Wild's mentality. Although it did do that. It did do that with its
Yeah.
divine beasts.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was pretty annoyed you couldn't re-enter them, honestly.
No, because then like you miss those chests and you literally can never get
I
them
forgot
again.
about those.
Well,
Yeah, I'd prefer.
It's not like-
I prefer if you could go back into it. Because that also is kind of like the sense of
Yeah.
freedom. Like you can do whatever you want at any time. You're not being rushed.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Once I left
I-
those divine beasts, I was eager to never return to them again until my next playthrough.
Well, actually,
Okay.
who's like,
Um,
like for everyone here, who's like your favorite divine beast?
It's a good question.
So I'm gonna have to go
um,
with Va Rudania entirely because of the dark area in it that's only lit up with malice and blue light.
Oh,
that's
you're
a-
right. That's a
that
really fun element of that. It kind of feels like you're entering a real dungeon when you enter that.
Yeah.
It's really
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah,
You at least get the illusion of a dungeon for a few seconds.
that's exactly it. I totally agree. If every divine beast had a gimmick as strong as Va Rudania's, I would have been a lot happier with them.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
I will
Yeah.
say that the
Uh,
view from the bird one, crap, I forget its name, Va Meadow.
I'd say Valmeadow is probably my
Stunning, though.
favorite. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so too.
Something really interesting about Valmeadow that happened to me is I played through most of the entire dungeon without figuring out divine beast controls, which I found like really interesting in hindsight, because like wow, the freedom in this game that you don't even need to understand the controls most of the time to do what you're supposed to do. It was insane.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, mine's probably Varuta, but only because it was the first dungeon I went to, and it was kind of like, I don't know, Water Blight was a really nice challenge. Like, for the first time you played the game, straight away, pretty much for me. I don't know, I like the challenge of Water Blight the first time around. It's never felt the same again.
My answer is the exact same as Trent's, although I think Thunderblight Ganon is probably the most fun boss fight.
Oh, yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah, definitely.
He's the only one I
different.
struggled with.
Yeah.
But that's what
That's
makes
a
it
good
fun,
thing.
right? Is it's like
Yeah.
it's a big challenge. Like
Mhm.
with Fireblight Ganon, like I feel like he just gets abused by every single like person that goes into that divine beast, because he's just so easy to beat.
Poor
So it's just
Fireblight.
like, I don't know.
I'm not gonna lie. The first time I fought Fireblight Ganon, in the second half, when like you're supposed to throw the bomb, I had no idea that I was supposed to do that, so I was like freaking out, getting angry, like trying to figure out what to do. And then eventually I threw a bomb in rage, and then it like hurt him, and I was like, wait, what?
So I actually only recently found out you could throw a bomb during his suction animation. I just always avoided it.
Wow.
It's amazing.
He has the spirit of a Dodongo in him.
Super
Oh.
Zelda Girl brings up a good point. We didn't mention the DLC with like Moscotia. Like that's an extremely
shoot.
good dungeon.
Yeah.
That's a
The fifth
really
divine
good
beast.
dungeon.
I always
didn't
forget
think
that
about
exists.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
It's a good dungeon, but the fact that we all forgot it exists is kind of telling, I think, of how bored
Yeah.
we all got of the divine
The
beast
same
Yeah.
design.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, one thing I won't get bored of though is Hyrule Castle. That was actually, I mean, if we're counting against
Yeah.
a dungeon, which it's like
It
a
is- it
semi-dungeon,
definitely is.
it's
It
really
definitely
great.
is. It uses the 3D scale like dungeon map thing,
It
so
does.
I would definitely consider it.
Yeah, that's a
I
good
guess
point.
it's a dungeon in the like quite literal sense that Zelda's being trapped in it, but like I don't know, I guess I disagree that it's a dungeon because like I didn't really have to use any puzzle solving at any point to get through it. There was no dungeon boss. I guess
Well,
there was
you
treasure.
don't have to use puzzle solving, but there is puzzle solving if you want to find different ways of getting up. Exploration is a puzzle in and of itself a lot of the time at Hyrule Castle.
Yeah.
That's true.
So
I guess it's a dungeon for some people and not a dungeon for others.
Well, it's
Well,
kind of got
it's
this
kinda,
weird,
dungeon
yeah.
thing.
I
There
mean,
is
that's-
combat.
So
yeah,
I
but there's combat in the overworld, and I don't think the overworld's a dungeon.
Well, there's combat. I mean, think about Zelda 2. Zelda 2 doesn't have a lot of puzzles, but it does have a lot of combat, and we considered that those dungeons, or temples, if you prefer.
Mhm.
Yeah, but
I
they,
still-
it's dungeon adjacent.
yeah,
Dungeon adjacent. I like that. I like that.
I'll take my L on this one. I don't think it's a dungeon. Just a cool area to explore is all I've ever thought of it as. And if Breath of the Wild 2 were filled with those kinds of dungeons, I would be pretty disappointed.
So the big appeal for Hyrule Castle to me was just the amount of detail and exploration in it. Neighbor is right that there isn't a lot of dungeon, or there isn't like really any puzzle solving aspect to it. Like maybe to get into lockup, you have to do that thing with the gate, but not really much of a puzzle there. But I would still consider it a dungeon. Most of the fun, or well, maybe not most of the fun, but a good chunk of the fun of the game for me is just exploring Hyrule Castle. Super dangerous. I feel threatened, at least somewhat, but just seeing all the things there. Of course, I'm a lore nut, so yeah.
Oh, the Hylian shield, the first time you get that. Oh, I remember
Oh, yeah,
stumbling
that was
across
fun.
the lockup. Oh, so nice.
Until it breaks.
Yeah.
I didn't know it could break until like I was recording footage earlier last year, and I was like, "This thing can break."
Versus Nintendo.
I thought it was really weird that the Hylian shield could break because in Skyward Sword there's durable shields, but the Hylian shield doesn't break.
Yeah,
So I thought it
yeah.
was really weird.
It's
I
invincible.
thought it was really weird that they didn't replicate that feature for Breath of the Wild.
No, and
I-
considering they even have like the Master Sword, which is unbreakable, you know, like it has durability, but it comes back. Seems like they could have at least done something similar.
Man,
Durability, the Master Sword.
giving me one weapon that wouldn't break, one weapon and one shield that wouldn't break at all, not even on a timer, just wouldn't break at all, would solve my entire issue with the game. Just one, and it can be an end game item. That's fine, but just give me one.
So
And
the
make it weak.
real-
It could be weak even. That's all right. We just need a utility item sometimes.
Yeah.
The
True.
realization. Just let me complain about this really quick. The realization that they included the mechanic in Breath of the Wild for the Master Sword to leave your inventory, probably when it ran out of durability, really frustrates me. Like, how did they ever think that would be a good idea?
I think that's going to be one of the main things they remedy in Breath of the Wild 2, because like
Yeah.
next to rain and dungeons, I feel like weapon durability is like the big topic. So
Yeah, but then a lot of people are very passionate about loving it, so it's going to be the kind of thing where they need to find a good middle ground.
Yeah, but if 50% of the people who have played the game dislike it, which I've actually seen surveys on, it was 50% of the people at the time, for a lot of surveys, said they disliked it. That isn't a good mechanic. It needs to be fixed. And I think at the least they could do is make it so weapons have more durability.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah,
the
I
blacksmith.
Would solve this problem.
Yeah, absolutely. I think they should increase durability, give every weapon a health bar so you can see how much durability is left, and you should be able to go to blacksmiths, or even like Link himself could fix the weapons and stuff, and like you can use the tons and tons of materials that you collect.
Yeah, just
on your
give the
journey
items
to,
a
like,
use.
to fix them. Yeah, because something I noticed in Breath of the Wild is like all of the materials you can collect on your journey, they're used for Great Fairy upgrades and for your food. And like I think that's it. I can't think of any other things that they're used for.
It's just
Like
give Link a
every-
smithing ability.
Yeah,
Every
so
now
if-
and then.
Crafting. We need
So-
crafting in the game. Some form of
yeah,
it.
some form of crafting using materials would literally like make every single item you collect useful, because you never know when you're going to use it.
The ability to upgrade, non-Master Sword weapons to maybe be more durable or sharper or whatever would be a cool function.
I
Hmm.
mean, we know items have like special things they can have on them. Like you can have long throw or extra durability or whatever the heck else. Imagine if you could like just add that to a weapon.
Maybe there could be a series of quests where you learn how to apply those to weapons.
Ooh. Okay,
Yeah.
I like that. That's a cool take. I like that. Because now we're having more rewards in the overworld we can search for, and Breath of the Wild sorely needs that because
Yeah.
900 Korok seeds is not gonna cut it for the sequel.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Like maybe you meet up with that one Zora guy who was shocking himself on the arrow, and he teaches you how to add shock resistance to something.
I love that. I
Oh
love
my
that.
gosh. Something I wanted to bring up a little bit ago. So in Breath of the Wild 2, like as we were talking about with Link's glowing hand, something I've noticed some people have pointed out is that the hand that is like affected by the glowing is his sword arm, which is his right hand. So it was making people wonder if he could use whatever power he gets in his hand to affect his sword attacks with the Master Sword.
Ooh. Okay, that's cool.
And I really like that idea too. Like maybe like some kind of elemental magic he could implement into the sword or whatever weapon he's using, or vice versa.
Maybe a magic system could be implemented through it.
I would
be
love
great.
to see magic come back. I miss it. I really do.
When's the last time we had a real magic system in a Zelda game?
I believe
can't
Wind
remember.
Waker. I believe
Wind
it was
Waker.
Wind Waker.
So long ago.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, in Skyward Sword, don't you have magic?
Shield durability.
Yeah, shield durability was the thing for it. It was like
yeah, I
the
don't.
substitute, I guess.
Yeah, I don't think there's
Mhm.
magic in Skyward Sword.
No,
There's no
no.
magic in Skyward Sword.
Twilight Princess
I-
almost had magic. Almost.
Yeah,
Almost.
on the box
Yeah.
art.
It almost did. It was very close.
I have the box art. I have it. It has that little green bar.
Wow.
No magic.
Yep. On
Still
the on the Wii cover art, if you look on the back, one of the screenshots has a magic meter.
I was really confused as a child. I'm not gonna lie.
I'm gonna go and check it.
It still has the
got-
green
I
potion
got
in the
one
game
right
too.
here. I got
Yeah,
one.
you can get the green potion in the game if you kill a green slime, which can only be found in what is it called? Cave of Ordeals.
Yes, the cave. of
Super Zelda
Ordeals.
Girl.
Oh,
Shout out
yeah,
to you.
yeah,
She
yeah.
made a video about it. She
Oh,
made
yeah,
a
she
video about
did.
that. Go watch that,
I don't know
guys.
if you
Go watch
can
that.
See that super well, but right there underneath those hearts,
Yep, I've just found it as well.
yeah,
Yep.
there's a magic meter on that. Wow.
It's so weird that that's there. Like they never thought to like change it.
Here's something we could go off on. What do we think will happen with the Sheikah technology in the sequel?
I have
Scrap
I
it
have a
all. We
whole
don't need it
theory.
anymore. Zonai is the future.
Yes.
So nice.
I'm okay with
Preach,
this.
brother. Preach.
I'm okay with this.
It's gone. I think because every Zelda game has like its own unique gimmick, right? And I feel like they went so heavy with Sheikah tech in this one. I don't think it'll probably be in the second one in some regard, like to some capacity, because it just lore wise. But
And the
like,
Hitano Tech Lab and Robbie. I mean, it's like they're not going to get rid
Exactly,
of
yeah.
those.
yeah, it's not going to be the main focus though. I don't think we're going to see the return of like shrines. I don't think that's going to happen.
I mean,
agree,
they
it
could
won't
get
be
rid
the
of
main-
Robbie by killing him.
I think they'll probably keep it around, but not really expand it. We might get a new rune or two for some sort of progression, but you know, like the bombs are still going to be there to blow things up, and stasis. I don't see them removing it.
But they might take it in a different form. Instead of being runes on a Sheikah slate, it might be magic.
A hook shot.
So I was Tyler and I were actually butting heads about this the other day.
Yeah.
I think that Sheikah tech will still be in the game and it will still be a forefront because, like, just from a story perspective, it doesn't make sense for Pura and Robbie to just stop working on their technology. It's like, oh, Ganon's gone, let's retire our life's work and our passion in life, right? That doesn't really make sense to me. So I think that there definitely will be Sheikah technology in the game. I don't think that it'll be the main way you interface with your abilities like it is in Breath of the Wild. I think the blue hand or something else will probably be. But what I do see is if Hyrule is in a state of rebuilding, I foresee a lot of the rebuilding being done with the assistance of Sheikah technology.
Oh yeah. I think we have to kind of wait and see with Sheikah technology. It kind of depends on like the next trailers that we get, because I think there's so much they could either do with it, or maybe they're gone for other story reasons.
Yeah, I don't think we
just
saw
put it
anything
away.
Sheikah in the teaser, did we?
Oh yeah, definitely.
No.
I remember
Yeah,
about
they
something like that.
Not even a
did.
slate. Not even a slate.
Yeah,
I don't
did
I
they
didn't see
even
it.
have the
Yeah.
slate on them?
They didn't even have the slate, yeah.
Pretty
Oh my
much to convince me that there won't be any Sheikah technology, you would have to convince me why Pura and Robbie suddenly retired.
Because
yeah.
they passed away,
Well-
Nehru. They're old people.
Deus Ex
Well-
Machina.
So
Tampa outlives them. all.
Robbie could have just died because he's old, and Pora could have reversed aged into nothing. There we go.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm so sad. No, it's too dark for a Zelda game. Stop.
You guys want there to be no Sheikah tech so bad that you're willing to kill off Pura and Robbie.
I won't. I
Honestly.
won't kill them off. I don't
You
want Sheikah
monsters.
technology, but I love those people. They're great.
They are
Yeah,
good.
Honestly,
I don't think it'll be the main
Oh,
the
man.
main gameplay thing. It'll just be there. I think it'll be very
Yeah, yeah.
present.
I agree with you there, yeah.
I would actually laugh if in this sequel we just see Pyrrha as like a 4-year-old, even younger than in the first game.
Oh, that
Like,
would
she
be
just
amazing.
keeps getting younger and younger. Oh my gosh.
Benjamin
It's
Button.
gonna eventually
anyone?
disappear.
No?
honestly, I would like to see her perfect her ruin and maybe see a young Robbie, Impa, and appropriate aged Pora in the sequel. Maybe
Oh,
just
so, like,
straight up
Age of
straight up
Calamity
using
Age.
the Age of yeah.
Oh, that would be
Don't say
awesome,
that.
actually.
Oh no, Nehru's gonna start simping over Impa.
I was gonna say, like,
Oh
I know
my
me and they were both are like all for that. Like that's there. You give me
Listen,
young Impa, I'm sold. I don't care what it is.
listen. You have young Impa, and oh man, game of the year.
Nehru's gonna buy 4 copies.
But then
You know what
again,
would make a game of the year for me? Pettable dogs.
Yes.
dude.
Yeah, we need
you're
that.
So obsessed
Yeah.
with the dogs.
Cats
I
too.
want
felt
a cat.
so
Monster
bad
Maze made a whole
whenever-
video about cats.
I-
We need cats too.
Cats too,
that'd be
please.
Awesome. I literally
Guys,
felt
Cats
so
we can
bad.
talk to. We have to have the ability to talk to animals again.
I just realized something. If they did bring young Impa back into the sequel, that would mean that young Impa and Paya are in the same game.
Oh.
Oh
Yeah,
no.
I was gonna bring that up. They'd be twinning. It'd be same character model, copy paste.
Incredible. Game of the century.
10 out of 10.
I'm gonna refrain from making a comment.
Now, can I take us in a new direction now? I want to ask you guys about
Yeah,
something.
dude.
So, what do you feel about Breath of the Wild just reusing the same world but changing it? Because I personally think there has to be some kind of new terrain. Because if you don't, you lose that sense of exploration, which is what Breath of the Wild is all about.
I concur.
Yeah, me too.
So I would like to be able to see your ability to change the terrain, like how I brought up earlier, repairing settlements. I think that would be an innovative way.
I
There's
think
no
that
way
would,
they
but
would
like
have
there
a
needs to be
mechanic that
more
would be
too.
big enough to like. Yeah, like I mean, there's got to be more than that. What Zeno said, you can't just have like the ability to repair a town or a bridge. You got to have the ability to find new regions of the game.
Because we know Hyrule. We like anyone that's played this game for as long as we have. We know this place very, very well.
Very well. And I mean, consider the last time they tried reusing a world, which was A Link Between Worlds. I think they reused the world for that. It was one of the biggest complaints.
Well, Low Roll was drastically different from the Dark World we saw in A Link to the Past, but I get the point.
I'm actually I've been pretty vocal about this on my channel that I don't really care if the sense of exploration gets carried over. I think that we have our open world Zelda game focused on exploration, and it's not going anywhere. And I don't think that they should try to recapture the same feeling twice. I think that I would really love to see Nintendo take the open world that they have already and try to do something interesting within it without worrying about the exploration being the new experience. Does that make sense?
I understand that,
Yes,
but like
also
you're
no.
the audience that you now have after Breath of the Wild. There's so many new fans there. Like I did a poll the other day, and like 23%, which that's pretty big just for one game to bring in that many people. And that's kind of alienating them if you go back towards, okay, let's re-Zeldify Breath of the Wild's overworld. That's what you're saying, right?
Not necessarily re-Zeldify it. It's just that, like, what would be the point of reusing the overworld if you're just going to focus all your energy on making new areas to explore? Like, when they announced this game,
I get you there.
Yeah, they made it quite obvious. They made it quite obvious that their intention was to use the world that they have to make another story in it and shorten the development time. So it's like, what is the point of reusing the same land at all if you're just going to end up putting all your attention to making new regions anyways?
Well, it might be more drastically different than we realize. They might have some crazy gameplay mechanic justify it, like floating islands or Hyrule's being rearranged or time travel. Anything could happen that would make it more interesting.
Please, no more time travel.
Hopefully not 120 Zonai shrines to explore.
Oh my god.
I think it's going to happen though. At least to an extent, I think there's going to be shrines again because the whole thing with the Switch is it's pick up and play, and the shrines are perfect for that.
I
Nobody
really
has
hope.
brought up the fact that the underground.
Yeah, the underground. I really hope they have caves again. In Twilight Princess, one of my favorite things about the overworld was just how it had a lot of these little mini dungeons scattered everywhere, which were pitch black. You had to use your lanterns and your utilities to get around in, and that was a lot of fun. I hope those are re-added in some way. Grottos as well, which were in a lot of Zelda games.
If they did do an underground, I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with Skyrim. I hope you guys are.
Yeah.
Yes, very much.
But there was an entire underground area in there that was both beautiful, but dark and gloomy. And I would love it if they gave us maybe not a full Breath of the Wild size map, but a good size map that's just like that in a dark, gloomy environment.
That's what my hope is. Like, I did a whole video with a concept for this, basically. And, yeah, if you just had, like, a 40-50% size world, like a new overworld, except underground. And I think that could be, like, a good way to bring back the sense of exploration, but at the same time, it's not as big as Hyrule, so you can go and make changes to Hyrule 2. Maybe there's some stuff in the sky now. Like, yeah.
I also want to make a point to something Xeno said a bit before, where he said they have a whole bunch of new fans they're worried about alienating. And I would just like to point out that there is no team in Nintendo that cares less about catering to their fans than the Legend of Zelda team. They have never been scared about alienating their fans.
If the money is on that side, maybe, I don't know. I feel like they started a direction here and they want to continue it. That's what I'm getting, the vibe I'm getting.
That's what it sounded like back at E3 2016 and in 2017 during all the interviews. They want to continue this direction.
Yeah, I understand that they want to continue that direction, but I don't think that they're necessarily worried about making the game exactly like Breath of the Wild 1 so that they don't alienate people. Like, Zelda team is constantly just paving their own path, regardless of what people think. Like, do you guys not remember when people were begging for a regular Zelda game on the DS, and they just kept pumping out the Phantom Hourglass and Spirit Tracks games? And then they finally give us A Link Between Worlds, and people are happy, and they're like, "Oh, I can't wait for another game with this style." And then they release Triforce Heroes. like people were so excited about what comes next for Ocarina of Time, and they release Wind Waker. So then finally
Yeah.
they give people what they want in Twilight Princess, and people are like, oh man, I can't wait to see an evolution of Twilight Princess. So they throw an all motion controlled cell shaded game at them. Like I am just not convinced that Nintendo cares enough about making their fans happy to follow up with what people want. And I'm not saying that in a bad way, because I love the fact that they do what they want. I think that's what makes Zelda games so original.
But considering that Twilight Princess was a backlash to Wind Waker, like practically dictated to Aonuma that, hey, you need to make Ocarina of Time too, and it needs to look like a real edgy Western style game. I think
Yeah,
that was-
and bouncing off of that, Skyward Sword had a reaction as well, which led to Breath of the Wild.
Right.
I mean, it's not like they're completely ignoring, it's just that a lot of the time they're ignoring.
They just
I
go
don't
all
think
the way back.
I don't think that I agree that Skyward Sword led to Breath of the Wild. I think I need to see some sources on that.
So consider this for a moment. I think that the development of the Switch actually reined in potentially really gimmicky controls we would have seen for Breath of the Wild. There's still some motion control stuff with the gyro puzzles and whatnot, but I think had the Switch not been more standardized with its approach, we would have seen some really wacky stuff with Breath of the Wild, and it may have saved the game.
Again, I need to see sources on that. I don't
Or that-
necessarily
that is
know I agree with that.
I mean, we all know here that when Skyward Sword was released, there was a huge cry out against the linearity of the game, right?
Yeah.
And then with with Breath of the Wild, they did the complete opposite. I mean, I guess it's not complete evidence, is not 100% hardcore evidence, but that does show that there was some acknowledgement by Nintendo that, oh,
Right.
this didn't work, so
Plus-
we're gonna switch it up.
I remember reading an article as well when Skyward Sword came out. It didn't sell as well as previous Zeldas, and I remember Ijo Noma wanted to know why, and he found out about Skyrim, and he tried Skyrim, and that like was inspiration for Breath of the Wild, because he understood like why people like Skyrim so much and Elder Scrolls in general.
I
Because of the
blame
open-
motion. I blame motion controls for Skyward Sword's failure. I'm sorry I cut you off. Go ahead.
No, that was basically it. I'm done.
I was gonna say to that point though, not to kind of deviate from the topic a little bit, but like, they had been playing a lot of Red Dead Redemption 2. Like they stated that.
Yes,
as
they
fact
did say
the
that.
team was playing RDR2. So I'm very interested to see like what things they're picking up from like games that have come out like since Breath of the Wild 2's release. What things they're pulling from those games to be implemented into Breath of the Wild 2, much like how they did with Skyrim.
When they
Could you
mentioned
imagine-
RDR2, I was thinking about like the random encounters in that game. Like you'll be just riding around and you'll see like a guy all of a sudden just on the side of the road, and he like got caught by a bear trap
snake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
or like bit by a snake or something. Like I think more because you have like the random battles with macablins and NPCs in Breath of the Wild, right? I feel like they want to maybe take inspiration from Red Dead and take that further.
Could you imagine a Zelda game where after you kill an enemy, you can skin them and it takes a minute?
Oh,
for the
no.
animation to play out?
Oh no.
Oh,
yes.
Goblin
No.
God,
You
awesome.
have to do a motion control for it.
You know what? I'm all in for that though. Yeah, let's do it.
I'm gonna be walking around in Lizalfo skin boots. Just wait.
Oh no. About the underground that we were talking about though, I made a video about it. I had this idea where I was thinking, so we know that in Breath of the Wild 1 there are no cave systems at all, like in the overworld. It's just like it's all mountains and plain fields, and like there is an occasional cave, but it only has, there's barely anything in it but like a shrine or a Korok seed and stuff like, it's like very basic. I was thinking that if they were to do an underground, how would they implement the ability to go down underground? I had this idea where one of the reasons that Breath of the Wild's development is taking so long is they are adding underwater abilities. Like you will be able to actually go underwater, swim around, and see what's underneath the water, and you'll be able to find entrances into the cave systems underwater. I was thinking that would be a really good way for them to implement it, because we don't know what's underwater at all. We only see surface level water. So if we get the ability to use the Zora armor or some kind of like the water dragon scale or like the Zora scale, whatever, being able to actually swim underwater and seeing like the coral reefs in the ocean and like seeing fish and other sea creatures underwater, that would drastically change being able to re-explore the world. I would want to explore the world all over again, knowing that I can go underwater and being able to go underground. In addition, by finding these entrances underwater would like just change the game entirely.
For underwater, I want you to ride side on.
Ooh.
Just holding on to his fin the whole time.
So if
Yep.
you guys don't mind, somebody from my Discord actually had a couple questions he wanted to hear you guys' thoughts on.
Sure.
Yeah, go on.
So first of all, he wanted to know what you guys think the Master Sword might be used for in Breath of the Wild 2, if at all.
The
cutting
same
hair.
thing, so
It gets
same thing
broken at the
always.
beginning of the game again.
No, it's just cutting hair.
I would hope that it is the weapon you get that has infinite durability.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just, I don't know. Yeah, to begin with, maybe it's like underpowered again, but really underpowered to begin with, and then like as the game goes on, maybe it gains some power, but it's still permanently there all the time.
One
do
damage.
you guys think that much like the first, the game will sort of be based around you getting strong enough to pull it again?
I think
No,
maybe
I think
they.
should start with- Go
I
ahead,
think
go
the likely thing is that it's just there, like you have it just off the rip, or like maybe you lose it, like whenever the cavern falls through and like Link and Zelda get separated, maybe he loses the Master Sword. But
That's what I
it'd
think,
be
yeah.
really. I think it'd be really interesting, like if again to go back to like the idea that they're pulling stuff from Skyward Sword, like to temper the blade with like the goddess's flames. Like if they could somehow implement that with like the like the springs are there in the game.
Right,
like maybe they could use that somehow to like make it completely invulnerable, like to where it'll never break. There's a lot of stuff they could play around with, but I think the most likely scenarios that it's just going to be there, or Link loses it at the beginning and gets it at a later point.
I love the idea of powering it up as the game goes on instead of having to find it again.
Yeah.
That would be cool
Consider
too, yeah.
this. So the sword would start off. I mean, we know the Master Sword is strong, but mechanically, it would start off as kind of a weak weapon, but it would have infinite durability. And then you use your fun Zonite arm and maybe a magic system to temporarily boost its attack up. So that way, it's still sort of using a durability system. It's just the weapon doesn't break and become useless. It's just weak without the enhanced Zonite powers.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay, the other question. Oh, sorry, you go.
No. I was just saying, yeah.
Oh, okay. The other question was, and I actually have an interesting thought about this, is what do you guys think will happen to the divine beasts, and how are they going to be used?
I hope they drown. Forever.
Wow! Wow!
Apart from Naruto.
Hilar-
Can't drown. Just burns instead.
Just put them
Clearly
on
they're
the
gonna
big
give us-
ravine, off the side of Hyrule. Just put them down there.
Throw them in
Just
the
bury them again.
Throw them into the Goron lava place that is. I can't remember the name of.
Death
Put them in
Mountain.
Death Mountain.
That's the one.
Clearly,
Isn't Harudania invincible to fire?
Fine,
probably.
Then we'll drown Varudania. Like,
We can
Clearly-
find a way. We have technology.
Yeah, we do.
Hey, clearly they're going to give us the other four that they were designing for Breath of the Wild.
Oh yeah.
No.
there were some really cool looking ones. I don't want it to be Sheikah related, but they made some really cool looking ones. I'm guessing most of you have seen the current and champion things,
Yeah.
where like all the designs and stuff. Like the UFO one. Have you guys seen the UFO one? Like the weird
The
like
dinosaur one, dude.
Yeah. That like there's so many that would look really cool, but they didn't go with bog standard ones. The designs were good. Would probably have the same reaction depending on whichever design it was. But I don't know. I liked I like most of the concept designs. I probably wouldn't have liked them in game though.
Maybe. Oh, let me just say really quick. Maybe the team will take some inspiration from Super Sentai and have the four of them gatai together as a giant mech.
Oh my god, yes.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my gosh.
How would
That
that even
Megazord.
look? Because they're all like different animals.
It works for their for Super Sentai.
All right, well.
What were you saying, Tyler?
I was just gonna say that you know, at the end of Breath of the Wild, we know that like Varuda or Redania, whichever one it was, I can't remember.
Oh yeah.
They stopped working. I don't think they're gonna be.
Oh yeah.
Like they might be in the game. I just don't think that like they've served their purpose, right? And so they don't have champion spirits to, you know, like that they were tied to. You know, and of course we got like the new champions, like as we saw in like Age of Calamity, like with Sidon.
I wonder if
Riju,
they're going to bring
and
back
a
the
bunch.
champions then, if they're not in the Divine Beasts.
Well, that's the thing I was going to say about the topic is a lot of this, and I know this is a contentious thing, but a lot of this is going to come down to whether or not Age of Calamity is canon. Because if
Yeah.
it is, then the current day champions, the Descendants, will come back to their time period, knowing how to pilot a divine beast. We see all of them piloting it in conjunction with the champions, and we see a couple of them, like Sidon, piloting one completely alone. So if Age of Calamity is canon, and they do come back, they have the option that the current Descendants would know how to use them.
So,
Yeah,
Nehru,
That's true. I never really thought about that.
my video tomorrow that's releasing is actually addressing this, and it is very different in your current interpretation. But yeah, I'm making an entire video talking about that exact concept and why it doesn't actually work. But
Nice, bro. Good to know.
Now, can we go back to what Tyler said a minute ago with like the divine beasts, like malfunctioning at the end of Breath of the Wild? I also wanted to bring up, someone in the chat said this like a few minutes ago, that in the Breath of the Wild 2 trailer, you can't see any shrines. They're not there either.
I had a I had a whole video kind of going over this as well, but like I fully feel like the Sheikah tech has fulfilled its purpose. Like it was designed, the Guardians and everything were designed to hold back the calamity, and now that there's no calamity, there's no need for them. So
You know-
it's oh, go ahead, Brad. Sorry.
Oh, it's kind of funny. A lot of us here are kind of thinking like, oh, it's gone. We don't need it anymore. But I've made videos about how I kind of had a disdain about Sheikah technology because I'm a very traditionalist Zelda player. I like the medieval fantasy feel. But a lot of people in the comments section reacted to that, and it turns out there are a lot of people who came on because of Breath of the Wild who would love to see it come back. I'm just kind of curious what their reaction is going to be when Breath of the Wild comes around, if they're going to be understanding of that or if they're going to be a little bit disappointed.
I really like the inclusion of it. I like sci-fi elements in my games. And honestly, something that's always kind of bugged me about the Zelda series is for a civilization that spans thousands of years, it's very stagnant. It's always the same medieval flavor of well, civilization.
Well, it also is a fantasy series, so, you know, kind of could get away with that. I mean, imagine
see
if Mario
glimpses.
was like, imagine if Mario grew like a white beard and got old and cranky at the, I don't know, after 30 years of games. I mean, it doesn't happen. It's a fantasy series.
But we're talking about thousands of years here. Are you guys familiar with the Forgotten Realms in D&D?
A little bit.
Essentially, the concept there is they have magic, and over the course of a long period of time, they've just become an advanced magic society. For the world of Zelda to stay at the same medieval level with no real advancements in anything it's stale, stagnant.
Well, we do have spirit tracks where like we see that kind of advancement with like a whole railroad system, right? So it's like, and
Sure.
there's elements here and there, like you know, we obviously with like gunpowder and stuff like that, like with the bombs, like
True, with
That's a-
cannons.
yeah. So
And
there's
also, I mean, also
elements
from
that are
Ocarina of
there.
Time to Twilight Princess, that would be kind of a shame to not bring up, because in Twilight Princess, there are no magnets and electricity being used, whereas in Ocarina of Time, there wasn't being used as much.
Right.
Sure, that's fair.
I also have like -50 desire to ever see a modern day Legend of Zelda, so I'm pretty happy if they stay stagnant.
See,
Oh my
I'm
god!
the
Do you
same.
guys remember the concept art for the punk rock Link?
I hate
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
I hate
Oh.
it.
Dude, and he was
Uh,
he's on the motorcycle. He had like the yeah. I know what you're
That
talking
is the
about.
last thing I want to
goofy.
see in a Zelda game.
All right, look, I'm a guitarist, right? And like I love guitar, like I'm all about it. But the image of Link holding an electric guitar rubs me so wrong. I hate it. It like
Also,
Unless-
just
I see,
the
if it's
look,
a
the look
bone
on his
guitar, I
face.
understand it, but it's not a bone guitar.
I hate it. Oh yeah,
Majora's
yeah.
Mask,
That's, I mean,
Majora's
that's-
Mask.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
there we go.
That I mean that's fine. You know, that's a little bit more aesthetic to it. But like I don't know, just seeing Link in just a pair of blue jeans and a flying V just like disgusts me. I hate it.
Oh, come on. The Kokiri hoodie would be cool. And his green beanie. Like,
No,
it'd be fine.
no.
Not in a
Greedy.
million years.
I don't
Not
want
in
it to happen.
even a million tears. If a million years went by in Hyrule, we wouldn't want to see it.
No. They
Don't you wanna
stay
wear some-
stagnant forever?
Don't you want to wear the Hylian jeans? Come on, man.
I already got my Nintendo Switch modern day T-shirt in Breath of the Wild. I'm good.
Oh right, I forgot about that.
True.
They've clearly invented T-shirt pressing technology. That's good enough.
Yeah,
It's
if
got
the
a red bubble
DLC
T-shirt.
if the DLC is canon, then does that mean the Nintendo Switch shirt is canon, meaning the Switch exists in Breath of the Wild?
Not to mention the motorcycle.
True.
So the deal.
I
feel
love
that
the story
DLC
behind the motorcycle too. That's great. It's just because like Aonuma really likes motorcycles. He rides one himself, and he's like he keeps bothering Fujibayashi, the director.
Yeah, oh,
Hey, I
yeah,
want a
yeah,
motorcycle in the game, and he's like, okay, finally, I give in. Yeah, have your motorcycle.
I love
It was
that.
amazing.
I love him.
So great.
Yeah, go on, Tyler.
I was just gonna say, like, this is kind of off topic, but I have a sneaking suspicion that Fujibayashi is gonna take over the helm as like the main Zelda guy once Aonuma retires.
Yeah,
It's
I mean, he
possible.
kind of already has to an extent. Aonuma's more like just supervising.
Yeah,
Producer, I think.
yeah.
Yeah.
Let me bring up an interesting concept.
Hold up.
Oh, okay.
No. Sorry, I'm just seeing this as a Ganondorf Metallica shirt.
Yeah, I
I'm
mean,
like-
ask Super Zelda Girl. She was messaging it on the group Discord, and
I don't know if y'all could see this
What?
chat, but I'm quite the Metallica fan, so that
Oh my gosh.
there's
I
something
like that a
strange
lot.
about this Ganondorf. I don't know how I feel about this.
What we're gonna do with that?
I feel like if any character in the Zelda series was to have one of these, it would definitely be Ganondorf.
I love this. This makes me so happy. Wow.
I'm
They're my
putting
two
this on
favorite
stream
things.
so everyone else can see it.
Yeah, yes, please.
Wow. Oh yeah. I probably should do that as well. Actually, let me.
I mean, the poor viewers, they're like hearing a radio documentary, but can't see it.
Right here.
I'm gonna save this actually.
They're like, wow, I bet that Metallica shirt sounds cool.
Thank you, Super Zelda Girl.
And Super
we all
Zelda
need
Girl
to see
says
that.
it's official,
Yeah.
Look at this. This is beautiful.
but doesn't remember where
makes
it
me-
was originally shown.
That
Oh,
makes
shame.
me so happy. Pat, do you mind?
So I'm gonna change topic a lot here from Metallica shirts. What do you think? What do you think they need to do with Skyward Sword HD to make it, up to scratch with everyone's expectations?
Make fee
Nope.
optional.
Kill the motion
Yeah.
controls.
I mean,
Why
they've
would
already
they-
done that.
Why would they kill the motion controls when they're already optional?
Yeah.
Here's
Well,
something
uh,
that is really small, but I would love just the ability to scroll through text faster. I was playing Skyward Sword recently, and it was such a crawl. Ugh.
Yeah, the text is really slow.
Pacing. It's the pacing. That's Skyward Sword's biggest issue. I don't care about like the linearity or anything like that. It's the pacing. That game is so drawn out. Like I don't need 4 imprisoning fights. Nobody needs 4 imprisoning fights. Like that's. It's
I mean, maybe
overkill.
somebody does. You can't rule everybody out, Tyler. Maybe somebody loves
Yeah,
it.
that one guy has never played Zelda before, and he thinks that boss is super cool.
He just
It
has an
is.
imprisoning poster on his wall.
No,
my
2.
God.
No, 4. 4 on his wall.
Yeah.
Okay,
One on-
one
one
for
on each
each
wall.
encounter. Yeah.
Oh my
If they-
gosh.
If they
Too
cut
gruesome.
out, if they cut out the second imprisoned fight, I would be okay with fighting him twice, like the first time,
Yeah.
and then the time with the dragon trials. I would be okay with that if it was just twice. But 3
Yeah.
times, yeah, that's a bit much. Like, I always hate the imprisoned fights. So if I only had to do it twice, I would be more than happy with that.
Well, it's like
I
they
don't-
don't innovate on it that much. It's just like it's the same fight, just over and
Yeah.
over. Like it gets wings.
Oh, it has
Okay.
arms now. How cool. Oh, it can
Yeah,
fly.
it
Oh,
does
big
get-
whoop.
It's like some very weird bionicle monstrosity. They don't even like bother changing its design that much. That's the big thing that strikes me as weird. Its design is just having these like lumpy things plopped on top of it, and it's like, well, this is a new boss now. Here, have
Yeah,
this.
Halo on the top.
He's got toes.
So-
That's his whole thing. He has toes.
Link
So-
just has to. All Link has to do is open up his feet fetish, and then he just has to cut some toes. That's all he's got to do.
Oh, wonderful.
it always-
Wonderful.
Do
It
you think
always
the
bugged me.
imprisoning has a foot wiki?
Oh, what?
It always bugged me that the toes like burst like they were water balloons when you hit them.
Oh
No,
god,
they're
it's
Ooh.
gross.
weird.
The way you guys feel about the imprisoning fight, I'm a big Skyward Sword fan, and even I dislike the amount of times you fight him. But that's also pretty similar to how I and a lot of other of my fellow Twilight Princess dislikers felt about the Spirit Bug quests in Twilight Princess.
Oh, yes.
As well as the Triforce Chart quest in Wind Waker. And if those HD remasters are anything to go by, I doubt that we'll get any removed fights, but they may add something in to make the fights go quicker. Because that's what they did with the Triforce Chart and the bug hunting quests. They just made the quests quicker instead of removing them entirely.
That's
Do you think they'll remove any of the Silent Realm stuff?
No, that's
No. That
No,
stuff is
they
too
might-
good.
I wouldn't
think
want
they
them
might-
to, honestly.
They might make it the same, like Nehru was saying, like with
If-
the Tears of Light, like where it's less.
If
to do it.
anything, I love the Silent Realms a lot. I actually wouldn't mind if they like added more tiers.
Yeah,
the-
Honestly,
the-
though, Silent
the
Realm is
people
one of the
who
best parts of the
dislike
game.
the people who dislike the Silent Realms seem to be in the minority compared to the amount of people who dislike the imprisoning fights, which is
Yeah.
the majority. Even fans
Yeah.
of Breath of the Wild or of Skyward Sword get pretty darn tired of those imprisoning fights.
Mhm.
But I love the Silent Realms. I don't want them to be.
I like
touched.
it too.
So I have a question from chat from Gareth Morgan, and this is kind of a good segue from that. He asks what everyone thinks about bringing another realm into Breath of the Wild 2, like the Skyward Sword Silent Realm.
Well, I wouldn't mind that if it was done on a small scale. I want a big overworld to be the main focus. I want them to do stuff with that.
It would be cool if like realms, like tiny little realms, sort of replace shrines.
It would
Yeah.
be cool to see the Sacred
I like if they had
Realm
little
in Breath
pocket
of the
dimensions.
Wild too.
Because I'm thinking
Pocket
of like the
dimension.
Dark Realm, not the Dark Realm, the Dark World, and how everybody says, oh, maybe that could be what happens. But no, maybe we split it into like different realms, and like everyone is like completely different aesthetic, everything going on. I think that could be cool, yeah.
Yeah, like have
Yeah.
each realm have like 10 or so, whatever the equivalent in the realm of a shrine would be, like 10 nodes that you need to solve or whatever, and then have like 5 or 6 different realms with different themes. That'd be pretty cool.
Unfortunately, that's all the time I have left. I'm gonna have to head out.
That's fine.
Oh man, there you go.
Thanks for having me aboard, guys. It was my pleasure.
Hey,
Fair enough.
absolutely. Thanks for being here, Brad. Man, this was
Yeah,
a lot of fun.
can't wait to see what we get at E3. Hey.
Woo!
Yes.
Have
Yeah.
fun.
Go.
It's time.
Have fun storming the castle. Always
It's time
fun.
for Bread Pirate to walk the plank.
Jeez, God.
Your arch rival's gone now, Nehru. What are you gonna do?
I win.
You
Good job.
Congratulations.
You
Win
conceded.
by
I
far.
win.
Pop the champagne. So we haven't really talked about like stuff outside of Breath of the Wild, aside from Skyward Sword, too much. Like, what do we think for 35th anniversary? Like, what else do we think we're getting?
So I would
Yeah,
do
that's a good question.
A personal request of mine, I would love to see the 3DS versions of Ocarina and Majora ported to the Switch.
same.
Absolutely.
That's
Yeah.
exactly what I was gonna say. Onuma, if you're listening, I know you are. Please do that for us.
I do hope they fix Majora's Mask though.
Yeah, it really was, disappointing to hear that Eiji Onuma felt Majora's Mask was kind of like a mistake. Like, he doesn't like a lot of aspects of Majora's Mask, apparently, which is why
I thought it was
did
more
all those
he-
unneeded tweaks.
I thought it was more he didn't like that period of his life, based on like interviews that I saw. Like, he associates that period of his life with Majora's Mask, and it was very stressful for him, and that's why he doesn't like the game. But maybe I'm wrong.
I read an interview with him where he said that he doesn't really think that Majora's Mask is very good.
Oh, really? Okay.
That's like crazy to all of us, right? Majora's Mask is an absolute masterpiece, but like, because it was extremely rushed, and I'll try to find the interview later, but he said pretty similar to what you said. When he looks back on it, all he sees is the cut corners and the unimplemented ideas, and the things. That's why I always say when people talk about a lot of the weirdness of Majora's Mask, I think a lot of that weirdness came from the fact that the game didn't really get a chance to be focus tested. And if it was focus tested, I think a lot of the weirdness would have got removed from it. So I think Majora's Mask was a once in a lifetime thing, which is why when he got back into it, got the chance to turn it into the game that he wanted it to be all the time, we got a bunch of really annoying stuff that was really worse than the original.
Hey, Tristan.
How's it going, guys?
I'm gonna continue with the edgy takes here, and I'm going to say that I don't think there's going to be a 35th anniversary.
That's a very fair assumption. That's the thing.
So I was gonna jokingly say I would like a 35th anniversary as the 35th anniversary.
Here's my reasoning for it. We got quite a lot of Zelda stuff already in this year. We got the Age of Calamity DLC, we got the Skyward Sword HD, and Japan got quite a lot of Zelda merch. Like, not just a little bit, they got a lot of Zelda merch. And none of that was branded as Zelda 35th anniversary. So I am totally convinced they wouldn't have released that much Zelda merch before the anniversary if they were planning on having one. So I think we're going to get lots of Zelda stuff here, but I don't think it's going to be branded as the anniversary. Yeah.
I mean, in 2011 for the 25th anniversary, we got Ocarina of Time 3D and Skyward Sword, and they waited until E3 to like celebrate it with that orchestra.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Is like I fully expect that they're waiting, because it's like we saw last year like how they're like time gating all the like they time gated the Mario 35th anniversary stuff, right? So all this stuff that they just released in Japan could just be like their normal stock lineup of new stuff they wanted to put out, and then like after E3 and like the announcement of it, that's when they released the exclusive like going away in 6 months type stuff.
Yeah,
that's true. So to that 2011 one, I would ask whether they released any Legend of Zelda stuff earlier in the year that year, or if they saved it for E3. And secondly, I just don't understand why if they were planning on having a Zelda's 35th anniversary, why they wouldn't have saved the substantial amount of Zelda stuff they've released for the anniversary, or have branded it before release.
Yeah, that was my with Skyward Sword. I was just confused why they didn't just say, "Oh yeah, this is for the 35th anniversary," because that would have made people happy. Just hearing anything about it, considering they haven't put like a single tweet out for the anniversary.
Well, there were a few theories floating around about that. The one that I most like and am hopeful for is they don't want to announce a 35th anniversary thing until after Skyward Sword is out, because they don't want to plummet its sales again.
How would a 35th anniversary plummet Skyward Sword's sales?
Because if people only have so much money, they would spring for the 35th stuff and not Skyward Sword.
But
So
what if
okay,
Skyward Sword was branded as part of the 35th stuff?
That would be cool. I still don't know why they didn't do that.
I don't know why they wouldn't.
Yeah, me neither.
There's a lot of comparison to the Mario 35th one, where there were 3 old games clumped together, limited time, of course, that you could get. And so the Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, and maybe something else, Wind Waker, could, in theory, be the same type of setup.
So I think the reason that Skyward Sword's kind of its own thing is because it's out of like the 3D Zeldas, it's the one that hasn't had like any kind of revisions, right? With Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, they have their 3D counterparts, obviously Wind Waker HD and Twilight Princess HD. Skyward Sword was the one exception that didn't have its own thing. So obviously they're trying to go for what's going to make them the most money. And then, if they made Skyward Sword HD and then bundled it together with these other games, instead of selling it by itself, that's a huge market that they're losing out on when they could sell it individually. And I think that's a big reason why it's like so set aside from like 35th anniversary type stuff, is because they want to capitalize on those sales as best as they can, because it's the one game that hasn't had that kind of special treatment yet.
Yeah, that's true. But then, like, the other thing that kind of flies in the face of the idea that they're protecting Skyward Sword from ruptured sales is if they are going to announce the Zelda 35th E3 at E3, and they're going to show everything on sale, then people are going to know what's coming out after Skyward Sword. So if they are going to ignore Skyward Sword for the 35th anniversary stuff, then if we do see it at E3, they're going to be like, oh, well, I'm just not going to buy Skyward Sword and save my money for what just got announced.
That's a fair counterpoint, but we're also assuming they're going to announce a bunch of Zelda stuff at E3. They
True.
might not.
Yeah.
Not a single trailer, no Skyward Sword
Ooh,
or Age of
maybe they'll announce another Skyward Sword amiibo.
Oh, goodness.
Gross.
Oh, no.
Okay.
Give me the Bruce amiibo.
Actually, yeah, I would take a Groose amiibo.
The Groose amiibo, and it has the ability to save locked behind it.
The ability to
Just save in general, yeah.
I think to side with like the no 35th anniversary, I think it's just the hype. No, I think the Mario anniversary kind of hyped everyone up, so they're just waiting for the next one. I mean, there's also Metroid this year, 35th anniversary, maybe
Donkey Kong's 40th.
Donkey Kong, yeah.
Fire Emblem.
Yeah, I just feel like Zelda has the largest community, so they want it, and I feel like that's just where everything started from. Mario got it, so Zelda should get it too.
Yeah.
I agree. I wish there was a 30th anniversary this year. I just am not convinced there's going to be. I still think we're going to get lots of Zelda stuff. I just don't think.
Honestly, yeah, I'm with that.
I think the only thing that is going to be branded 35th anniversary is kind of Skyward Sword to an extent. They're going to say like, oh yeah, this game is coming out 35th anniversary, and also a double pack of Twilight Princess and Wind Waker. I think that's going to be their big thing. It's going to be like the Zelda collection for the 35th anniversary, kind of like 3D All Stars was.
So someone in chat brought this up. What do we think about the DS games making their way to the Switch?
I would love to play Phantom Hourglass on something modern.
Yeah, me too. I love those games to pieces.
I would also love that, and a dream that will probably never happen of mine is I would love it if they remade Phantom Hourglass Spirit Tracks in the Wind Waker engine.
I actually wouldn't like that very much. I'd be the big sad if they did that.
Do you like the aesthetic of the DS games in that regard?
I enjoy their mechanics. I enjoy using the stylus, and I enjoy having to utilize the special features in the two screens of the DS. And if they just took Phantom Hourglass and turned it into a 3D Zelda game, everything I like about the game would be gone. I don't think that the Phantom Hourglass story is particularly amazing. So for me, it would just be a worse Wind Waker.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
A special shout out to Super Zelda Girl for making me want to play those games again from her most recent video.
Yeah, she's screaming remake them in my chat right now.
So
it seems Truth Force needs to go.
Yeah, I've been just seen.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but this is all the time I've got.
We've already talked for a long time, so it's fine.
Thanks
it's been a good discussion. Yeah,
yeah, absolutely.
Thanks for nerding out with us.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. Yeah, I guess I'll talk to you guys all later then.
See you later, Truth.
Take care. See you, man. Thanks for joining.
Bye.
So it looks like Super Zelda Girl's coming pretty close to assaulting me in Tyler's chat, so I would like to defend myself.
What a way to start a sentence.
She told me that I'm going to catch these hands. I'd like to defend myself and I'm still totally in support of Phantom Hourglass being remade, I just don't want it to be in the Wind Waker engine. I want it to be remade in an engine that still keeps the same touch controls that it originally had, or something that would emulate them. I don't want it to just be stuck in a regular 3D engine game. But I'm totally in favor of the game being remade or remastered or whatever they want to do. That's just so I don't get hit by a fellow Zelda tuber.
I'm just trying to think of how would they do that on the Switch, like.
Oh, there's the Switch has a touch screen. There's been games that are only playable on the touch screen before, so that part I'm not too worried about.
I missed out on those games then, but I guess I might need some convincing to play them as well. But wasn't it like dual screen? Didn't you need like dual screen or?
Yeah, you could just have two screens. Like they got released for the Wii U, and
Okay.
while you can play them using one screen on the Wii U tablet and another screen on the TV, you can also just have both screens on the TV, and that's
okay.
totally doable.
Oh, then that's
Yeah, the
perfect.
games that have done dual screen technology that have been later ported are often hit or miss. I'm not sure if you're familiar with Azure Striker Gunvolt, but they had to do that, and it was very poorly implemented.
Mhm.
Like any of the Castlevania DS games would have similar problems, I feel.
Mhm.
Yeah, probably.
I feel like they should be there in some regard, right? Because, like, I mean, it's a accessibility issue. It's kind of like the same thing with like Link's Awakening, right? And you can also kind of put this argument towards the Oracle games as well. It's just like people don't have a good way to get those games anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think my
Like,
Game Boy one just broke out. It burned out.
Like Minish Cap, you know? Want Minish Cap. I love Minish Cap.
Every Zelda game should be remade at some point.
Just
Oh,
do 'em all,
especially-
yeah.
Especially Zelda 2.
Zelda 2 does
yeah.
deserve it.
Totally agree with you there. I'm a huge
Yeah.
Zelda 2 fan.
Zelda 2 is a really good game trapped by really terrible jank and
Yep. it is.
limitations by the console it was developed on. So if they were to remake that game without the jank, without the limitations, I think people would see that it was actually a pretty good game all along.
It is.
Yeah.
The one
So-
thing.
Oh no, sorry. Go ahead.
Okay, I was gonna say that the one thing I'd really want for these remakes, like the biggest thing to come out of it for me would be enhanced music. There's a lot of good music that's just sort of trapped in, the Game Boy Color with the Oracle games. That it's sad. Having resampled recently in a video the Song of the Ages, it was pretty painful to listen to.
The music in the Link's Awakening remake is also fantastic. So if that's the
Yes.
treatment that all the other games would get, that would be wonderful.
I would love that. Like just give me like fully orchestrated OSTs of all the games, please.
Man, between the Link's Awakening remake, the Age of Calamity soundtrack, and the Cadence of Hyrule soundtrack, it's been like a blessed couple of years for Zelda music.
Oh my god, yes.
It has. I love the Age of Calamity soundtrack so much.
Man, even people who hated Age of Calamity are usually willing to admit that it had an absolutely incredible soundtrack.
Now, speaking of Age of
You-
Calamity, do you guys want to like speculate a little bit on what the DLC might
Very
be,
true,
and if that
very
might
true.
show up at E3?
Sure.
How did you guys feel? I wanted to ask this earlier. How did you guys feel about Nintendo misadvertising Age of Calamity?
Oh, it's free.
I complained about that
Oh.
in my last video, but
As a Metal Gear Solid fan, it didn't bother me in the slightest. Lying
me-
about the plot twist is
Me and
is just
Nehru
part of
had
having-
this discussion before, and yeah, we're fine with it, right?
Yeah, it's like it's you can't have a plot twist that major without lying about it. If you tell people, "Oh, the descendants are actually in the game," then it's not a plot twist anymore. And there's the argument to be made whether or not it's okay to do those kind of plot twists. But as a guy who loves gigantic major plot twists, mostly because I'm a Metal Gear Solid fan. Like the good example is in Metal Gear Solid 2, the game you play as Raiden for most of the game, but the commercials only showed you playing as Solid Snake. And people had a pretty similar reaction when the game came out, and it turned out you only played as Solid Snake for like 10% of the game. But now looking back on it, we think that was like a marketing masterpiece. So, I feel ambivalent.
Using false advertising to conceal part of the mystery or the plot twist, okay, I'll begrudgingly give that. But the actual announcement of it clearly states these are the events of 100 years ago. These are the events that they talk about in Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, and they are. It's
They imply that they imply it is the exact same part of the memories that you see in Breath of the Wild.
Can you show me where they said the exact same?
Yes. Well, I will link you to the part of the video in question because I used that in my last video, just straight up footage from them saying this. And it is an outright lie.
My guess, it's probably going to be them saying you can relive the events of the Calamity, and this is the events of the Calamity, just in an alternate dimension.
To that degree, would you rather them just outright spoil the game? Like, at that point, it's just like if the whole premise of the game is that it has this big plot twist and everything like that, and like. It kind of takes away from the experience if you know about that going in, because then it's the point of a plot twist is that it's a shock, that it's surprising, and that it's out of nowhere. That's why it's a plot twist. So
I don't know.
I think it does a disservice to like talk about a plot twist, like not even in Age of Calamity, just in general. Like that's the whole premise of it.
Oh, sorry, you go.
I was just gonna say, if you bring acknowledgement to that, it diminishes the effect that it has.
Yeah, it just makes me worried that in the future, developers are going to be scared to do gigantic, game-changing plot twists because they're worried people are going to think they're lying about their advertising.
My personal thoughts on Age of Calamity is that most of the time, apart from obviously Terrico, most of the time the game doesn't stray too far away. Apart from obviously Terrico, and then it hits the point where all of them come in, as the champions are about to die. If that didn't happen, that's the game. It's done. That's technically what happened 100 years ago in a different dimension with Terrico.
Yeah, it's like you can play Age of Calamity, stop at that point, and then start watching the Breath of the Wild memories, and you have the events of the Calamity as they actually played out.
Yeah, that's my thoughts on it.
I'm not 100% with you there because Terrico does still change some things early on there, but for the most part, yeah.
Well, a lot of things I've been noticing with the Age of Calamity discourse is people don't seem to realize Terrico jumped back further in time than what people think. Essentially, if Terrico jumped back to when Zelda was a small child and went dormant, that explains a lot of the discrepancies between the games because the Harbinger runs around doing things.
All I know about that scene is that it gave me even more reason to hate the king.
Why did I know you were going there?
He just takes away her toy. She's 8 at that point, or 6 or something, and he just takes away her toy. She's like, "I'm gonna take this toy away from you, so 7 years from now you'll be a good shrine maiden."
What's this? You're an infant child and you can't defeat the Calamity yet? We can't
no
have that.
No toys for you, my barely not a toddler daughter.
We should probably get back to the DLC. Thinking about it,
Oh yeah. You kind of got derailed there, yeah.
The single thing I want from DLC is a vignette, the story mode about the bad guys. I would love to see what Aster was doing, maybe a little bit more on his past.
Yes.
Fuga would be cool to get some more information on.
Yep.
I would really like to know what's his name? Giga Master Koga. I would like to know why Koga is relatively unchanged over the course of 100 years. I mean, other Sheikah get older and smaller. Why didn't he?
So the name of the story DLC is Pulse of the Ancients, isn't it?
The first
I didn't
one,
know
yes.
that they released the name.
Yeah, so that kind of makes me think that they're probably it's probably going to be focused on either the Sheikah monks. That's what it kind of sounds to me like.
I think, like, based on what they said in the announcement, the second DLC pack is what's going to focus more on, like, the story vignettes.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, no more joke characters, please. We don't
What are you
need-
talking about? The Great Fairy is the best!
Don't add the horse fairy. We don't need that as a DLC.
Oh, we need... Okay, you put that in my mind now, Pixel, and yeah, we need the horse fairy.
Downloadable
Give me
skin for the
Kelton.
fairy.
Or like the sage,
playable
the sage
Kelton.
of the mountain. Do we really need that as a playable character? Please don't.
We
I
need
would
them
really
all.
consider that a joke character. He would just be cool.
Oh, it would be kind of cool, but I want real characters.
I like the monk, even if it was like a bit of a random, you know.
Yeah, I'm not sure I'm not sure who else there is for them to add. I'm of the belief that the characters that they are adding into the game as per the DLC are the characters who are currently in the game and have movesets but aren't playable. So
Yeah.
Astor and Suga and Robbie and Pora don't have movesets, but they do have like models. So I imagine those four are probably the only ones we're getting.
I was
So
honestly
I-
I think
hoping-
that's a safe bet.
I don't want Cora and Robbie only because I don't want them to be combatants. I like them being scientists, non-combatants.
I think we'll almost certainly get them.
It's revealed that Robbie and Pora can slay armies of bokoblins on their own. Kind of hurts their image.
Doesn't really
Well, that's-
surprise me too much after Zelda being able to do the same thing.
Yeah.
And also it's a Warriors game, so I mean that's the whole premise of it. So I wouldn't put too much like stock into that, because I mean that's just like that's the mechanic of the game. Like obviously like Link slaying tens of thousands of bokoblins isn't translated over into Breath of the Wild. Like we have that one memory where he's killed an onslaught of enemies, but like it's not to the same degree. So I don't think it like translates one for one.
I was kind of hoping to see Cass's like teacher. They talk about him a lot.
Oh
in Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, it would be
I've
cool to
given
see.
up hope
Yeah.
at this point.
That
Like
was
back
my-
when Age of
that was
Calamity.
That was my one of my biggest disappointments with Age of Calamity is that we
Mhm.
didn't get Cass's teacher in it.
Yeah, I mean, you're always talking about him, and he was probably gonna be in the end game, but DLC, I don't see it happening. But one can wish.
Sad.
Can wish.
Because if you read the wiki article that like gathers every mention of him in the game, he was with them during the
Yeah.
pre-Calamity stuff.
With,
and
with
he
the
just
family.
no, with Zelda and Pura.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he was running around figuring stuff out with them before the
Mhm.
Calamity happened, and he just wasn't there in Age of Calamity
It's Robbie, guys.
all along.
He's gonna bring out his accordion and just jam out.
I mean, what else is there to talk about with E3? I mean, we could just go into general Nintendo things. But we could be here for another 4 hours, so we should probably refrain
Yeah.
from that.
I think I'll probably
Yeah.
call it in about 20 minutes for myself.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm kind of cool with that. Should we just talk about Metroid briefly? Maybe. Like, I mean,
Yeah, I mean, I'm
Sure.
I'm down.
So, please don't be please don't be anything like Other M again.
no, you don't want
Wait,
Federation
so-
Force 2?
Do we think that
No.
Metroid Prime 4 is going to actually be there? Because if you guys do, I think you're insane.
I think it's going to be
I'm
there.
of the
I
same
just
mindset.
I think it's going to be there. I just don't think it's going to be anything substantial.
I don't think it's going to be there whatsoever.
It's
Like
gonna
a
be-
name
it's
drop,
gonna
but like
be-
that's it.
It's going to be something in between a JPEG and a cinematic trailer. like you guys remember the announcement for Elder Scrolls where they just kind of like glided over
Yeah.
some terrain? I think we're going to get something pretty close to that.
I think
gonna go and
less.
copy
I
and
think they're
paste
just
both.
going to say, hey, we're still working on it.
Yeah,
I think that's the case. Yeah.
Do you think
So
we'll
like,
get a year?
I wonder
No.
if they'll
absolutely not.
I wonder if they'll feel pressured to make it an open world game.
I don't
No,
think
definitely
so.
not.
Nah, I don't think so. Because like, I have a very limited understanding of Metroid, and especially with Prime. But like, the whole premise of that is like it's kind of like closed off, right? It's just like
Yeah.
corridors.
If there's any game series that does not need a total overhaul, it's Metroid. They make
Yeah.
those games so infrequently that they pretty much never get stale.
but you need to reinvent with every single game. That's Nintendo's philosophy. That's
Well,
Plus, last
considering-
time they reinvented, they got Other M, and you know.
Right, I was gonna say that Other M put the series dormant for how long has it been now? I don't think it's been 10 years.
A while.
No, it came out 2010 or 2011. It was at the 2010 E3. I remember that.
Not to mention the fact that it's being specifically labeled a Metroid Prime game, and there are certain things people think about when when Metroid Prime is brought up. So I think that it's still going to be like a one large map sequenced off by doors. You need different items to access, just like Metroid Prime 1, 2, and 3.
So do we think the trilogy might be getting a port to Switch?
I hope so.
That would be cool.
I've heard rumors, right? We've all heard the rumors for like years that yeah, this is gonna be a Metroid Prime trilogy, and I keep saying, oh yeah, in the predictions video, I'm like, oh yeah, Metroid Prime trilogy, and then I never stop, and I'm not stopping this year either. There's a hint of what's gonna be my predictions video. I'm still saying it's still gonna happen. Yeah,
You'll be right eventually, Xeno.
I know.
Man, I see a couple people in Tyler's chat saying that they like Other M. I'm happy you guys were able to get something out of that train wreck of a game. It came close to ruining Samus for a character as me. So
What's weird is the parts of that game that I actually liked, it seems to be things that people really hate. Like Samus's monotone behavior feels very much in line with her report style that we see in Super Metroid and her behavior in Fusion. I think there are a lot of other problems with the game, but Samus's behavior as a character, I don't think really contradicts anything.
I don't want to get into a 20-minute long argument about Other M right now, so I'll keep my
Sure.
I'll just say that there is something deeply hilarious about Samus refusing to use her weapons because a person in the Federation is telling her to.
Now, what do we think about 2D Metroid? Is there gonna be a 2D Metroid?
I think they port Samus Returns.
I would love that. I haven't played Samus Returns yet.
I have. It's one of the few Metroid
forgot
games I
about
played. I love it.
Yeah, I didn't play it.
I actually think that we might get a Metroid 5. I think it might happen.
So you're saying
Maybe.
Metroid Prime 5 is going to come out?
No, a sequel to
Metroid.
Fusion or whatever. That one.
Would you actually want it to be past the points of fusion?
I don't know. I mean, I say that, but I don't have a lot of experience with Fusion or like 2D Metroid in general besides Samus Returns. But I just think Mercury Steam, the team that worked on Samus Returns, they have to be working on something else, right? Like it was received so well.
I would adore a proper new non-remake 2D Metroid.
See, that's what I'm saying.
happy.
Yeah.
The last thing from Mercury Streams I messed with was the Castlevania Mirror Fate game they made, which was very Metroidvania or search action if you prefer that. But
I've never heard that term before in my life, actually.
Yeah, me
there are
neither.
people whining about like Metroidvania being too inclusive to those two series, and they want to make it a more general phrase for the genre. I think it's nonsense. Also a little biased because I'm a Castlevania person, clearly.
Nice.
Donkey Kong? Question mark?
That's what I was gonna say. Donkey Kong, yeah.
Nor I don't care about Donkey Kong.
I would be very happy with either a 2D or a 3D game.
Yeah, me
I
too.
would prefer a 3D game just because I'm a massive fan of Donkey Kong 64. As much flack as that game retroactively gets, I still love it. But I would be perfectly fine with another 2D game. They're all fantastic.
Are you missing the rare Nairo? Nairo?
Oh yeah, I miss Rare like crazy.
I'm on that too.
I actually slowly, it took me years, but I slowly came around on Banjo Kazooie Nuts and Bolts. And once you get around the atrocious car gimmick that game, there's a lot of rare charm in it. But that's the last game that I've ever felt was actually had the spirit of Rare. Sea of Thieves doesn't feel like Rare at all to me.
Oh, I love Sea of Thieves though.
I think
I
it's a
do
good
like
game. It just doesn't feel like a Rare game.
Just a fun multiplayer game. It's not a Rare game though. You're right.
Yeah, but no, I do miss Rare. But I think Retro Studios has been doing great with Donkey Kong. But
Oh,
I prefer them on Metroid. So I'm glad with how it's going right now.
I still want that retro Zelda. God, I want that so bad.
Yeah, it kind of sounded like a spiritual sequel to Twilight Princess, so I'm sure I wouldn't have liked it.
Well, you can be wrong. It's okay. Some people in chat are wondering about Smash Bros.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah, let's have everybody say who they hope and who they
can I say
want
first?
the fight. Who do you think the fighter would be logically, and who would you pick if you could pick anyone?
The thing is, I put both of them in the same category at this point purely because I'm running out of characters. I really like a Resident Evil rep. It's really, it's really off because Resident Evil doesn't really, go with Smash if you think about it like that. But I don't know. I'm running out of characters. Plus, I just really like Resident Evil at the minute, so that's definitely a hope. Expectations wise, I don't want to be, the same as everyone else, but if anything, I'm expecting Crash at some point. Maybe not this, maybe even next Smash, but I'm expecting him eventually.
Considering that they've already opened the doors with SNK using Terry Bogard, I wouldn't mind seeing something else from SNK. Maybe not quite like something really obscure like the Crystallis main character, but I don't know, just something else from their franchises.
What do you think, Ace Monkey?
I have been hoping for Ace Attorney. I want to see Phoenix Wright.
Yes,
Phoenix
yes,
Wright,
Phoenix.
that'd be great.
Yeah.
Right. Phoenix
I mean,
Wright
if
is
he can show up in Marvel vs. Capcom, why not?
He already has somewhat of a moveset, so
That'd be a
Phoenix Wright.
beautiful addition. I would love that.
I really want Phoenix. Yeah.
My out of the blue, the one I've been wishing for since Smash 4 is Excite Bike.
Oh, that's a good one too. Yeah.
That's such a good one.
I would
Excite
love
Bike.
that.
Yeah.
Sorry, that's a spirit trophy at best. Sorry.
That's a really fun idea. I like that.
Yeah, I mean, if we got Duck Hunt Dog, we could get Excite Bike.
How about you, Hailey and Luke?
My dream character that I would want in Smash would be Crash Bandicoot. I want Crash so badly. He's the first video game I ever played on the PS1, and I played like all the games. I'm a big fan of Crash. I would love to see him in Smash, but realistically, I think we're just gonna get like a Nintendo character.
That makes sense.
Maybe like another. I've heard a lot of rumors that Cinderace might make an appearance.
Oh no! Please no. You know it's gonna happen, but I don't want it to.
No.
Yeah, it's probably just gonna be like another Pokemon rep or.
Come on, Magic
God-
Swordsman.
God forbid another Fire Emblem rep.
Oh, I'd be
I'd
more
be
okay
fine
with
with
Fire
that.
Emblem than Pokemon. Yeah.
Give me Fire Emblem characters all day.
I think there's too many.
Tyler, I know you're not big into Smash, but in your world, what would you like to see, and what do you think is coming?
Realistically, I think Crash would be the thing to come. I think it would be really cool to see Spyro, though.
I was
Ooh,
gonna
yeah.
say Spyro.
Yes, I'm down for either of those.
What about you, Zeno?
So I've been saying Crash, right? And I've also been saying, as crazy as it might sound, Waluigi. I think it might happen.
Yes.
I completely forgot about Waluigi.
Yes.
Oh my god.
Waluigi.
Yeah, that would be cool. So mine, I feel kind of like it doesn't matter anymore because my two dream characters was Travis Touchdown from the No More Hero games and Sephiroth from Final Fantasy. And I got my Sephiroth, and Travis Touchdown has a costume. So like I feel pretty happy. But Lloyd Irving from Tales of Symphonia would be the person that I would most like to see.
I didn't even think about the Tales series. Yeah, go ahead.
If for who I think it's most likely going to be, I think that it's probably going to be a third-party character. I think the rest of the pack will all be third-party characters. And Crash seems pretty good to me. It wouldn't surprise me.
Somebody in chat said Reggie for a character.
Please.
I was actually thinking how funny or like just plain out cool it would be if Sakurai, as
Yeah.
like the last bonus character, made a character of himself.
He freaking deserves
I
it.
would love it. Actually.
Hidden boss.
Yeah.
Hidden boss.
Or if
Would
he made, or Sakurai was like a boss. Yeah, that'd be, like it'd be great.
Would if he was a character, would his final smash be his sunglass lasers, or would it be my body is ready?
Oh man,
For Reggie,
it's gotta be.
Uh,
It's gotta be my body is ready.
my body's ready.
He has so much options for a moveset.
He
Too
does.
many.
Maybe he says your body is ready, and then shoot you with fire lasers.
Oh no.
You guys remember that video he did where him and Aonuma, or sorry, not Aonuma, and Iwata were fighting each other with like the Dragon
Yep.
Ball Z
Oh,
punches?
Yeah, that was
yeah,
the
yeah,
opening
yeah.
of the 2014 press
The
Yeah.
conference.
anime.
They could cut that out, and that could be his infinity attack.
Yeah, yeah.
I love that.
Amazing.
Another character I stopped wanting. Well, I mean, like, I want really badly, but because of Sephiroth, like, I don't think it's gonna happen anymore. But I've really been wanting Sora as well from Kingdom Hearts.
Or would you be
Oh,
cool
yeah.
to throw in?
Yeah, of course.
Very, very fitting.
I feel like if Sora was doable, he'd be in by now.
Yeah.
I think
feel like it's gotta
Sephiroth
be
kind
something to
of
do with
nailed the
Disney.
coffin for him.
Yeah, I feel like it's got to be something to do with Disney that's keeping
Yeah.
him from being in.
Mm.
Because he's been wanted since, like, I remember when I was a teenager being on the Smashboards forum before Brawl came out, and he's been like one of the most requested characters ever. I think probably Sora. So if he was edible, I think he'd probably be in by now. Unfortunately.
Yeah.
Well, I know when it comes to Kingdom Hearts specifically, there's sort of an unspoken agreement in place with Square being able to use the original characters, but not Disney characters and other things. So there are mobile games, as awful as they are, that have Kingdom Hearts characters show up in it, because they can use that without the Disney interference.
Interesting.
Is anybody on the Geno boat?
No.
Like
Oh, no.
after the me costume, no. Before that,
Oh.
yes, I was on.
Jenna was cool. I liked him.
One of my friends wants Nintendo to just completely fool everyone into thinking Geno wasn't a thing anymore because of the costume, and then just actually reveal actual Geno.
Take it off.
That would make
That
me
would
happy.
be that would be a big brain move right there.
Yeah, and it would make me happy because it means that Travis Touchdown could still be a character.
Yeah. Travis and Gino, final two characters.
I think
Then
I
we'll
think
fall into the
Travis-
false advertisement.
Travis Touchdown has potential, I think. Especially with the new No More Heroes being announced.
He would have a perfect moveset for it, and he's very cartoony, so he'd fit right in. What's that, Trends?
Impa.
Oh man, you don't want to know what would happen. I'd probably melt down. It'd be worse. I was in Trends chat when Sephiroth got announced, and I had a meltdown.
Yeah, he did. I remember.
It would probably be worse if they announced Impa.
Oh, it
Wow.
definitely would. I can only imagine your reaction, just hyperventilating.
Oh man.
Oh,
So you're
Girahim's a good option too.
Yeah, I would love
true.
that.
Very,
And,
very fun.
That'd be a good villain.
and it would be able to tie in with Skyward Sword. coming out,
Honestly,
so
yeah,
close.
we could get some fake outs with that. Oh, we
Or
could.
maybe they'll just clone Ganondorf and make Demise.
I'd be less excited about Demise.
I think costume maybe, trophy. I don't know.
Demise is cool from a lore perspective, but as a character, he's pretty bland.
He's kind of lame, honestly. Like the fight was fun, but like I don't know. Girahim carries the weight of Skyward Sword.
He's just kind of like Demise is just kind of Ganondorf without his
Without
personality.
the name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or a shirt.
Yeah, true.
All right, so do you guys want to like wrap it up with like one big, really out there prediction from everybody?
Oh,
Sure.
I
sounds
think that's
good.
a,
Yeah,
I think that's a
good.
good option. Yeah. start at the top and go down?
Yep.
Okay.
Let's do it. Yeah.
No, bottom down, because I don't know what you
All right,
guys.
fine. All right, fine.
I don't know what you guys talked about, so I don't want to just like repeat it
Oh
or
shoot!
anything. So,
Now I gotta think of
Nah,
one.
dude.
Okay. So, I gotta pull one out of nowhere. Let's just say that there's gonna be. I'm trying to think of something. A game, a really big game. It's gonna be open
It's like 2D
world.
Zelda.
Going big here.
Open world F-Zero game. It's coming.
Oh,
Yeah.
I feel it.
Right.
You're gonna run
I'll go
around
next.
as a bounty hunter. It's gonna be
God.
like GTA except F-Zero. People have been saying that. I actually kind of want that. That would be amazing.
Actually, yeah, that sounds fun. Actually.
what if we finally get that F-Zero Star Fox crossover
Oh,
game?
I forgot about that.
Oh wait, actually I take it back. It's Star Fox Grand Prix. That's what it's.
Friends?
Well, I've talked about it a bit, but I'm gonna say 2 because they kind of go hand in hand because they're small little Zelda things, really. I think N64 NSO might be a thing, or maybe Game Boy instead, and I think we'll get Ocarina of Time Majora's Mask on that. My other sort of big one, I guess, is Four Swords Adventures. I think they might port that over and make it online, so you'll be able to play like online. with friends. Yeah, that's probably one of my biggest hopes for like the 35th anniversary in general. Because I mean, with the 25th, they did the Four Swords anniversary edition. They might just do with the 35th Four Swords anniversary, Four Swords Adventures anniversary edition, maybe. Who
I wish
knows?
they'd bring both of them over, Four Swords and
I
Four
would.
Swords.
Oh yeah.
I would love that so freaking much. I have never played Four Swords Adventures with anybody before, so that would
Like,
be wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Zelda?
So my big, like, just out there, like, never gonna happen prediction is that we get a release date for Breath of the Wild 2, and it's March 3rd of 2022, 5 years to the day since Breath of the Wild 1 came out.
I like it.
That'd be sweet. Pixel
Yeah.
Yeah, Pixel.
Yeah. Big prediction for E3. I think I'll throw out sort of a joke one. A Breath of the Wild racing game. There we go.
Whoa.
Breath of the Wild map for
Mario.
Mario Kart would actually be really hype, actually. I would love that.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh my gosh, yeah, like courses through like Hateno Village and like Kakariko.
Like just using the trail system in the game in the world map, they could make courses and just, you know,
They could
ride
go
on
on.
a horse
Yeah.
or a
We could do
motorcycle
Diddy
or
Kong
whatever.
Racing.
Horse racing game. That's it right there. That's the idea.
Link's crossbow training too, but from horseback.
Yeah.
That'd be
Michael?
awesome.
Nehru, what's yours?
Okay, so first I want to say Hueda Faraj in Tyler's chat says, "Guys, hear me out, but Nehru is in Breath of the Wild 2, simping over that one pink Sabrosian. I'd just like to inform you, her name is Rosa.
Rosa.
Yeah. And so for my one wild prediction,
Rosa in Smash.
I'm going to say that the guest character will be Tingle.
Okay.
Like the Smash character is going to be Tingle.
Oh.
That is now that one.
All those tentacles. Wow.
Oh my gosh.
Luke, what about you, man?
All right. So I had to think about this while you guys were talking, and I just remembered. So I personally am not a big Star Fox fan. I just think it's really boring because to me it's just like I don't really like those rail flight simulators where you can't fly around wherever you want. So I was thinking it would be really awesome if Nintendo, in this never ever gonna happen universe, like if they made an open world Star Fox game where you could fly around and like go to different planets and like complete missions and stuff. I think that'd be really fun and cool.
That's the dream.
Remake
think-
Assault, cowards.
Yeah, actually, it's so funny. Like the only Star Fox games that I've actually been interested in playing are the ones where you can run around as like the characters and not just like flying the R wings.
I got enough Star Fox and Breath of the Wild for Wally. He's totally Falco.
All right, Ace, what's yours, man?
Yeah. I'm gonna go with. I'll say 2 real quick. I'm gonna up Tyler and say Breath of the
Uh-oh.
Wild 2 comes out this fall.
Oh,
This-
This fall.
Oh,
I
As
think.
much
I
as I
think.
would love it, I don't think it's gonna happen.
I think they've had a
there's
lot
a
of time to
sliver
work
of a
on it.
chance.
They've had a lot of time to work on it. That's what I think. But far out of the blue, prediction. Oh man, it's just the name came out of my the Mario and Rabbids game.
Oh god, what was
Oh
that?
yeah.
Sequel.
We
There's
need a
to that
sequel to
game.
that. That game is actually really good.
yeah,
Yeah,
it
I
absolutely is. I loved it so much, and the Donkey Kong expansion.
Yeah.
I haven't got to play that, but I've heard that's
excellent.
good too.
I actually completely forgot that exists. I bought it and I never played it.
I played a little bit. It was really good, but I feel like it was really well received. So it could be a sequel.
Yeah, that would make me
Oh,
really
yeah, I'd
happy.
like that.
Man, that'd be that kind of thing with like Splatoon in the last announcement, where those of us who are fans of Mario and Rabbids would be so happy, but then everybody would pretend that the direct was terrible because they don't specifically like Rabbids.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That annoyed me so much when that last direct, people were like, nothing big got announced. I was like, okay, just because you're not a Splatoon fan doesn't mean nothing big got
Yeah.
Yeah,
announced.
I was
Yeah.
so disappointed that everybody was not sharing in my passion for Splatoon.
I was disappointed no one was hyped for Mario Golf.
I've actually
screw
seen,
Mario
like,
Golf.
like a small but insanely dedicated community for Mario Golf. Like people who like Mario Golf are some of the most
They
passionate
lie
people I've ever
Mario
seen.
Golf.
I'm hyped.
It looks good, to be fair.
It looks like the first good Mario sport game in a long time.
I've never been a fan of Mario Golf as a sports game. I love the baseball games. I love strikers, but golf,
It's
Nah,
a different.
I'm
kinda
not
game.
big on
It's
it.
different.
I'm just tired of Mario sports games that just have basic modes and nothing else to them. And this one
Yeah.
looks like to have
It's
a
got
lot
that
more to it.
Race,
Yeah.
like party game mode. It looks like a lot of
Yeah.
fun.
And like
Speed
a
golf.
story mode.
And then like arena mode where like just battle it out.
Looks great.
Well, I think. Are we done? Are we done?
I think, yeah.
Anyone
Yeah.
else?
I
Anyway,
think
sorry,
we've
anyone
we wound down pretty well here.
I'd like to make one last statement.
What's that?
Bread Pirate isn't a real pirate, and Twilight Princess is a bad game. That's all.
In the wolf
Okay.
segments, I 100% agree. But other than that, I don't.
All right. Well, it's been good chatting, guys.
Yeah,
Yes,
absolutely.
yeah.
This was so much fun.
yeah.
Great
This was
time.
pretty good.
Yeah.
Times.
Thanks for obviously accepting the invite.
Thank
'Cause it
you
was
for
just
putting
kinda
this together,
weird
Trends.
No problem. No problem. It's a bit of
Let's
fun.
all look forward to the weekend because we want some announcements.
We're almost
Absolutely.
there.
For sure.
All right, guys. Yeah, thanks for joining, and I'm gonna leave now. You guys can obviously. talk
Yeah,
amongst
I'm gonna
yourself.
log off. See you guys
All
later.
right, see you guys.
Yeah.
See you
Alright,
guys.
see
Hey guys, hey,
Hey,
it's
guys.
good talk.
Take care.
Bye bye.
All right, everybody. So, that's the stream. That's the thing. We did it. We made it through. There were some technical difficulties along the way. I'm sorry about all that. That's my bad. I'll fix it in post. Don't worry about it. But yeah, look forward to the predictions video of like all of Nintendo stuff. I know we got a little bit into it here at the end. That will be coming this weekend. We'll probably do some streams of some of the other conferences too. Maybe Xbox. I'm not 100% sure yet, but maybe. We'll see. And Nintendo Direct on Tuesday next week. I'll be here streaming. You're welcome to join me if you want. If not, come on by and watch my reactions afterwards, I guess, because I totally understand if you want to, like, experience it yourself. before watching some idiot talk over it, you know. But yeah, I'm excited. I know you guys are also probably excited, and we'll